So, welcome to our first interview. Not only is he a successful realtor, he's actually one of our clients. I'm proud to say. Jake, welcome to the channel. Just start by telling us a little bit about you, name, what market you're in, what brokerage you with. Yeah.
Yep. So my name's Jake Smith. I'm with Remax Realty Specialist. I'm based in Caledon, Ontario, Canada. I've been with Jamie for a few months now. Loving the relationship. So yeah, it's been a good little learning curve. I've learned a lot from Jamie as well. So we look forward to this interview with him.
Bless you. That's very kind of you, sir. So what we are planning to do in 2023 is create a resource. And what I really want to do is interview, because we're ever so lucky to have such an amazing, not only client group like yourself, but also an extended network, not on Instagram, on Facebook. And what I want to do is I want to tell the stories of the people that are out there doing it, that are converting the deals, that are talking to the clients, and making the magic happen. And, you are, say, is a successful realtor. So kind of production wise, where are you at the moment? And where do you want to get to within the next 12 months?
So right now, do you want to know, I guess, money wise or?
Well, no. Just how many deals? We don't need to be that kind of.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say.
So the criteria to be on the channel is to be a six-figure earner. So you're evidently there and above.
Yep. So what we're doing right now is I want to be hitting $1 million every year commission. So around that. So with Remax, it's like the Titan Club Plus. And I really think we're going to get to that this year.
Love that. Where were you last year? How many deals did you do?
I'd say probably close to about 30 to 40 in between that ballpark. Yeah.
Love that. Cool. And what's the median home price where you are?
I'd say around $1 million in Caledon. That's on the low end. Yeah.
Cool. And how did you get started in real estate?
So I've been doing it for 10 years now. I originally started, so I was in the club industry before. So I was a nightclub promoter. So I had a huge network getting into it. I met a lot of people just through that industry alone. And I decided when I was doing that, that's not a full-time gig for life. So I ended up getting my real estate license and just slowly kind of converted over to real estate full-time. But that's my original roots is in the club and the nightlife.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah. So you were a nightclub promoter, and then what kind of nightclubs was it?
It was like downtown Toronto nightclubs. So top 40 music, hip hop, all that kind of stuff. It was like King Street. Back then it was Richmond Street. So that was 10 years ago, and yeah, it was a fun time for sure.
Love that. I love that. And then how did you kind of get the idea to go into real estate? What was then the catalyst for you to then pivot or transition into real estate?
Yeah, well, I knew my time in that industry was I wanted to do something where I can kind of convert my network into something else. I saw real estate. I saw the potential of doing that. I've always worked for myself. Like I was never an employee. So I like something that was more or less that I could bring my clients from the real estate business, from the club business to the real estate business. And I just figured it was a great fit, and it happened to work out that way.
Love that. So you were already self-employed, because I think there's a bit of a learning curve that a lot of people that are maybe in traditional employment and used to that paycheck to then be reliant on their own output. And,
Exactly.
There are some people that say you're lucky to do any deals in your first year. And there's some other people that go on to do 14 in their first year. And I really like to know what separates those people. And with that said, kind of how many deals did you do in your first year?
My first year was extremely rough. So like I made 8,000 only in real estate. So it was a very, very slow year for me. I took it as a learning curve though. I didn't dive in head first. I was still working other jobs. I did take the slow route, which I believe was a better route to take. I think a lot of people jump into real estate and they don't have the amount of, I guess, funds to back them up. Yeah. I think a lot of people, you need to have money to kind of market yourself, especially with real estate. So it is a good business to, I would say, start part-time, figure out the game, start with leases. Everybody wants to sell these $2 million houses with zero experience. It doesn't work out like that. And people get too ahead of themselves, especially nowadays. Talking to the new agents, they're watching all these stupid shows like Selling Sunset.
Sunset, and they think they're just going to be drinking lattes and
Yeah, and then your phone rings and someone's like, I want to buy a $10 million house. Never happens. So yeah, take it slow and start with the leases, because there is a bit of money in leases. If you do say 4 to 5 a month to start, and just focus on that. Learn the ins and outs. You learn the contracts, and then get into the bigger stuff when that time's right and you're ready for it. So
love that. And
Yep.
how did you pick your brokerage? Going right back to the beginning. Have you stayed with Remax throughout the whole 10 years?
Nope. So I originally started with Home Life. One of my good buddies, he actually kind of has a similar story. He was in the club Nightlife as well. He got his real estate license. He worked for a company called Home Life. So I talked to him about it. I joined his brokerage for about 2 years, and then I ended up converting to Remax. It kind of gravitated towards that way. So I made that jump, and I've been there for about 8 years now. So I'm really liking my brokerage. I'm probably going to be a lifer, but
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully own my own piece of the brokerage one day out of there. So yeah, but
Yeah. Have you got ambitions to start something of your own? Or are you quite happy kind of, because I know we're not only in the US, but also in Canada, you're self-employed and it's your business. And then how it works is you work underneath a brokerage, but some people like to create their own. What's the split at Remax?
It's a 95-5. So it's a
That's
very
not bad.
healthy split. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the problem,
And so would there be much of a benefit of you going on your own and creating your own brokerage?
see, I've looked into that, and I don't personally think there is. You're going to be taking on more risk. I think the best route to go, and the route I'm trying to go right now, is by creating a team and still stay under that umbrella. Remax is number 1 worldwide for a reason. We have a lot of heavy hitters at our brokerage as well. Like Tav, he came number 1 in the world. He works out of our brokerage. Like Sukhvinder team, I'm really close with them. They came like 11th last year. So you're working with the best of the best. And it's just great to have, because even our clients and stuff, I can bounce all these deals off of the big guys. And, it's good to be in that kind of circle. So
yeah, of course, man. All ships rise with the tide. And
that's
that's
exactly
really what I'm trying to create with this channel, is to tell stories like yours. So then people that are maybe, not at 6 figures yet are able to watch this and learn from, not only your story, but everybody else's story that we're going to tell.
Of course.
Yeah. And with that said, say, for example, you were brand new, and what you know now and what you know then, kind of what are the 3 top tips that you would give to a new realtor? Where would you advise for them to start?
So I would definitely tell them, don't sprint at the beginning. Learn leases. I would say start with leases, and start with just, family, friends. My first deal was a good friend of mine, Mark. It was his family. It was a lease. I had no fucking clue what I was doing at all. So I was showing houses. I didn't know how to book appointments. I didn't know how to do anything, but because he was my buddy, he was totally understanding. So I'd say definitely go that route. Start with leases. Don't dive in head first either, I guess would be point 2. Figure out how you're going to get your income, because you do need money to do well in this business. I really feel like you do need to spend the money on the marketing. If you don't, you can't do listings, you can't advertise, you can't do anything for your client if you don't have money to back it. So yeah, and point 3, just stick to it, because a lot of people, I think they quit too early. I think the failure rate is 87% in 5 years, which is really, really, really high. And I think people just quit too soon. And I think part of that reason is because they dive into it too fast and they have the highest expectations. It's just like starting any other business. So you got to take things slow. You got to learn it. And you can't just expect, to be rich overnight from these stupid ass shows that are on there. So yeah, so that would be my 2 cents on it for all the young guys that are starting out and young girls that are starting out. So yeah.
Love that. Cool, man. And when looking for a brokerage, what kind of advice would you say to somebody to, look for? Is it just purely the split, or is you have to take into consideration kind of training? Because a lot of people, when they start out, they say, oh, join a team and give, 50% of your commissions, to then be able to learn you're under somebody else's wing. You also get, drip fed leads in some instances. What recommendations would you give?
So I would definitely, because Remax is more, I'd say, for people that are already doing quite well. I would start with a bit like a company that has more training to it. Starting with a team is good as well, but people need to recognize this. I think they have the wrong idea about real estate, you are on your own. You are, even if you do join a team, if you can't just sit there and expect leads. It does take time, and I would definitely start with a brokerage that has good training program, and then eventually look for the higher split when you can handle it. Remax right now, too, the reason a lot of people don't like it is because the monthly costs are high. So the split's high. If you're doing the deals, the monthly costs kind of just aren't a big deal. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, definitely start off with somebody that's willing to train you and learn the ins and outs that way. Yeah.
Love that. Cool. And what's the biggest deal that you've ever done?
It's 5.4 million. It was a farm. Yeah. So that was in Caledon. That was last year. That was when the market was quite hot. So there's actually nothing on the property. It was 25 acres of farmland. And yeah. So that was a pretty good deal.
That was amazing.
We had 3 offers on it. Yeah. And that was actually done. One of my buddies at the brokerage was on the cooperating side. So it was really good to have them have the best bid on it. Yeah.
That is really cool. And how did that come about?
So this one was just through prospecting. There was a lady named Joanne Wilson. She used to own a school bus business, and she's had this piece of land in her family for many, many years. And yeah, it's just from talking to people, following up with them, and then eventually said, okay, we got to get rid of this. We've had it for years. They knew how hot the market was, and we threw it up and we had it sold in a week. So yeah.
Love that,
it went
man.
quite well. Yeah.
The other question I wanted to ask is the problems you have now as a team leader and as a 6-figure business owner compared to when you were just getting started. How different are they?
It's different having a team. I think there's more pressure on you with a team because you're constantly trying to feed them and look out for them as well too. Especially right now in the real estate market, it has been on a downward spiral. There's been a lot of change right now. So it's just kind of adjusting. And that's the thing too, because like I have a bit more experience. I have 10 years now. So I've seen different markets. A lot of the newer agents have only seen you list the house and it's sold. So there's more skill to it now. They've never had to talk to a client where it's like, okay, I know we listed your house here. We got to do a price adjustment and drop it. So there's a lot more skill and emotion to it now. You're dealing with sellers that they saw their neighbors sell for 1.5 and theirs is selling for 1.1 now. So they're looking at you like, where the hell's my 400,000, right? So yeah, it's just it's trying to teach people that, and the only way to do it is through experience and going out there and getting beat up a bit and then going up. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean that's with anything, doing the reps, right?
That's it. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely find that it's a learning curve for teaching the team. And keep in mind too, I'm going through that learning curve myself as well. So starting the team is new for me. And I've just been used to going out and doing it myself with one other guy, Tim, that you know. So he does all the calls, but yeah.
I love Tim.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, man. So I'm going to finish the interview with a quick fire question round.
Yes.
Tom Ferry or Mike Ferry?
Tom Ferry.
Best real estate event or conference you've been to?
Honestly, I don't go to events, man.
No, fair enough. So I was going to ask you the worst, but that would be no. TikTok or Reels?
Reels.
EXP or Reel?
Reel.
The Beatles or the Stones?
Stones.
Looks or personality?
Personality.
Lakers or the Knicks?
Lakers.
New York or LA?
LA.
Grant Cardone or Gary V?
Gary V.
Positive or negative?
Positive.
Love or fear?
Love.
Peace or war?
Peace.
Bless you. Thanks, Jake. You've been a great guest. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And have you got any last words for anyone maybe looking to get into the real estate market? And because you're right, what you said is that the market has changed, and we're seeing that across the board because we work with clients not only in the US but also in Canada, and it's the same everywhere. The order takers of 2021 are about to get found out. Exactly. And you're right. The people saw homes going way in over ask and are now expecting that same. Interest rates have had a massive impact as well. What advice would you give for somebody kind of getting into the real estate industry right now? And, how would you advise for them to be able to deal with the current climate? Yeah, I would definitely tell them, be patient, start with the leases and just be patient. Yeah. Realize it's a process. Don't try to, knock these big deals out of the park right at the beginning. Just be calm and enjoy the ride and just learn. Be there to learn, and that's it. So yeah, that's what I would tell them. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it,
care.
buddy. Take
Cheers,
care.
bro.
Be in touch. Have a
Bye,
good
mate.
one.
Bye. Bye.